biggest challenge facing the water sector today is to ensure future access, not just for today's generation, but future generations, to affordable, clean, safe, healthy water. And the reason that that's such a big challenge is because we're facing the combined pressure from climate change, with the volatile weather patterns having an impact on water resources, population growth in all parts, but in certain parts of the country in particular, and our wish to see that the environment is left in a better state in future than when we found it. The good news is that we can actually address all of that, and the research that the sector has done, that the National Infrastructure Commission has carried out, and others have talked about, is that through a twin track approach, significant investment in improving supply of water and transfer of water on the one hand, but also on the other hand, making sure that we use water as efficiently as possible. Through those two things, we can make sure that we keep on providing the water that country and society needs, and that we can do it at affordable cost. In short, the people who are going to take on the challenge of ensuring we've got enough water to meet our needs is everyone who's watching this video. It's obviously water companies as the people who are responsible not just for providing the water, but then taking it away and disposing it sensibly and carefully. But water companies are at the centre of a whole series of interrelated relationships. For example, between the farmers who manage the land that is actually the main source of all the water we need, right through to the customer who then uses it and disposes it at the end of the day. But water companies are also part of another set of relationships. They work within an operating environment that is shaped and determined by regulators and by government. And all of these players, from land managers to customers, water companies to regulators to government, got to play their part to ensure we can meet the challenges of today and future. The things we need to do to make sure that we can meet the challenges are actually two things. The first is we need holistic thinking. Water comes from the sky, is collected, is then used, is distributed. It involves a whole number of people, from source to tap to disposal. We need solutions that harness the best contribution that all of those players can make. People in the industry, for example, for many years have talked about catchment management, and there are great examples from Yorkshire at one end of the country to Devon in the southwest of how farmers, people who manage the land, work together with water companies, work together with consumers to ensure that we deliver holistic solutions. We need to make sure that our regulatory environment makes more use of these things. It's great that we're seeing companies in their business plans to 2025 using much more of the catchment management approach, but we need to scale up significantly to meet not just today's but the future challenges. So we need an environment which helps with that holistic thinking. The second is that we need leadership. If we're going to kind of address some of the big challenges we're facing, we need to take tough decisions, whether it's within water companies or within government and amongst regulators. And just as an example of that, water companies have come together to commit to a public interest commitment, where we have set out 5 big goals, for example, to rapidly increase the rate with which we reduce leakage, to promoting social improvement, tackling water poverty, for example, as well as environmental improvement by aiming to be net zero carbon as a sector by 2030. And that leadership is essential if we're going to drive the ways in which we can ensure that people have got clean and safe and plentiful water in the future. To help convert the leadership that not just companies but others have got to show into real action and improvement on the ground, actually support is everywhere to be found. At one level, technical support for companies to do what they do best is available internationally. There's experience of great practice overseas that we can make use of. There's great expertise within the supply chain that the companies work with to deliver our services. But also we should be looking at other sectors, whether they're at home or abroad, in the way that they use technology, the way that they use data to deliver better services. But the support isn't just at a technical level. I think the support that companies and others need actually exists, as it were, on every residential street across the land. Customers are both an inspiration and a source of support for what we need to do. Whether it's the day-to-day heroes taking their 3-minute showers or harvesting rainwater in their garden to make sure we're making best use of our precious natural resource, or the inspiration we get from thinking about the 1 in 7 households who financially are more vulnerable than others and who drive us constantly to do more to ensure that we are providing a key public service at an affordable cost to all. There are many hurdles, some of which are technical, some of which are boring, about policy and about regulation, but actually fundamentally one of the obstacles we have to delivering a better future is about the level of understanding of water. Every drop that comes out the tap has a story to tell, and if it was able to speak, it would tell a tale of the journey that it's gone through from source to tap, the countryside it's flowed through, the animal and plant life that it's nourished, the energy, the sheer energy that it has had to use to be treated so that it comes out safe and wholesome at the end of the day. That richness of story that is embedded in every drop is not well understood either by policymakers or by the general public. The moment we start to unlock that understanding and the realization that that small drop that comes out of the tap is incredibly valuable and actually involves and embeds a huge amount of effort to deliver it on time and in a way that everyone needs, is the moment that I think we will change perception around using water more efficiently and recognizing the great job that is done not just by water companies but by all the people that they depend upon to deliver that core public service. If all of the things that I've mentioned around leadership, about holistic thinking, about putting in place the investment and improving our efficient use of water were to come about and delivers a better world, then I think what we would see and what we all aspire to is affordable access to clean, healthy water for all in the country. Rivers, lakes, seas in this country that are thriving, not only as sources of natural environmental capital, but also as recreational facilities for all in the country. And at the heart of all of that, water companies that represent the best in responsible business practice. If you look over the last 30 years, there is an enormous amount about which we should be proud in all of those respects. We were once known as the dirty man of Europe for our environmental performance and for what was going on in rivers and lakes. We have moved way, way beyond that, with wildlife returning to rivers for the first time in many, many decades. People are able to get their water and sewerage needs for just over £1 a day on average. And water companies are recognised by independent organisations for the responsible way in which they conduct themselves. I think not only is the last 30 years something to be incredibly proud of, but looking ahead, the sense of ambition that is shared not just by water companies, by others gives us, I think, great hope that a better future is not only possible but actually achievable. I'd like to nominate Mel Karam, Chief Executive of Bristol Water, to set out his vision for a better future for water.